Greetings everybody, it's Emily from Pages in Ink, and today I will be doing my book talk on Scorpio Races by Maggie Stiefvater. This book is about a boy named Sean, or Sheen, S-E-A-N, Kendrick, and Puck Connolly, or Kate Connolly, also known as Puck. And it's also about a small town on an island that is known for the Scorpio Races. And the Scorpio Races are where people from the island capture and ride water horses. They are horses that come out of the ocean and eat people. They're man-eating horses. They drink blood and eat meat. And they're riding these horses down the beach. Yeah. So my first impression of this book was that it was going to be awesome. It was going to be an epic horse race kind of story with some awesome characters and some magic because, you know, water horses. What I got was awesome characters, cute relationships, and man-eating horses that at one point really frightened me. There's this one scene where there's a water horse that Puck and her brother are in the backyard under the lean-to where her horse Dove is just kind of chilling. And they're there because it's raining and they were just going to spend time outside with Dove. Anyway, so the horse, this isn't really a spoiler, it's just frightening. I sat there for a second like, oh my god. But they hear this this hoof sound on the other side of the fence and they just kind of freeze because they know what it's gonna be. But so they're sitting there and then they hear like creaking on the fence because this horse is starting to push on the fence. And they're holding absolutely still because the water horses, like every predator, like it when things move. So they hold really still, and this horse, they see like this night black, like pitch black head slowly peer over the fence with like this big evil grin on its face. And I'm just like, oh god, it's like from like Jurassic Park or something, just where like the main predator of the story is like right there slowly looking for the main characters and you're like, oh god, they could die. So it was frightening. It was really frightening. Didn't give me nightmares, but for a while I was like, that was close. Puck's relationship with her brothers is sweet, but also very bittersweet because one of her brothers is leaving for the mainland, which is something that a lot of islanders do, but she doesn't expect one of them to be her brother. And one of the things that I thought was interesting was it was her brother and like two other boys who were all friends and they were going to the mainland. But not once did it ever talk about their plan. I almost felt like they had some scheme, they were scheming about something. Because from what the book kind of explains is people will go off on their own, whereas this was three boys that were planning to leave, or three young men, because they weren't, you know, teens or little kids. So I kind of felt like they were scheming, but they weren't scheming, they just wanted to leave. And I also, in our book chat for Bill Colt, we kind of talked, or somebody had mentioned that they wanted to see more of their brothers. And I kind of agree, especially Gabe, who's the brother that wants to go to the island, because you don't see a whole lot of him. And what you do see kind of gives you a bad impression, because from the beginning Gabe had because their parents had died in a water horse attack. So he was kind of the adult figure for a long time. And at one point he goes, I just can't take it anymore. And the first thing on my mind was, you know, how can you leave two teenagers in a house that they can't pay for by themselves because neither of them have a job and just go? And I understand that sometimes that needs to happen, but it was just kind of like, I felt he was really selfish. And, you know, he didn't even get them jobs. He didn't even, like, save them money. he literally was just like, I'm leaving in 2 weeks. I'll see you guys later. And like hardly ever came home, and I'm just sitting here like, that's kind of douchey. You know, at least you could help them out a little bit or something, which is kind of what prompts Puck into wanting to run in the race. Puck's relationship with Sean, or Sheen, or whatever, is actually super cute because they start off like complete strangers, then they're just kind of like companions because he starts to kind of help her out for the races, and then they slowly kind of start to like each other. And it's not like, it's not one of those situations where it's love at first sight, this person's going to die for the other person, and if they're ever separated, the whole world's going to fall apart. But it also isn't like slow sexual tension building to like this one big scene where they have one night together and it's just so magical, and that happens in a lot more YA than you think it does. Those two scenarios, maybe not both of them or one or the other, anyway. This one was really sweet and cute, and they just kind of slowly fell for each other, and it was just so nice to finally have a story like that after so many where it was just like, I will die for you. You know? You understand what I'm saying? The book's pacing seemed to both go quickly and also really slow, because a lot of things seemed to happen all at once, but at the same time it seemed to take forever to get to the important parts of the story, specifically the race that takes place in like the final chapters of the book. So this whole book is basically them preparing for the race that is the title of the book, that only takes place in a couple chapters and then it's over. So it was just kind of like, I expected it to be something bigger and grander. And I don't know if you guys have ever read City of Stars. It's part of the Extravaganza series. But my mother's best friend's mother let me borrow one of those, or two of those books actually. One of them was City of Stars. And I read that. It was about a horse race called Stellata in a fantasy Italy. And I was kind of expecting it to be a little more like that, how it was like this big thing, and they're like, it just seemed so, I don't know, it just was so anticlimactic, I guess is what I'm trying to get at. It just didn't live up to what I was expecting it to be, and it just wasn't very exciting. So all of this stuff combined, as well as the fact that I was able to read it without getting so bored that I didn't want to read it, but I did struggle trying to get myself to read it, so it got a 3 out of 5 stars for me. If you've read Scorpio Races, what did you think? Let me know down below, and please ignore this little tag thing here. I am starting to put these on my books, so you may see them on some of my other books. I put them there when I'm finished reading so my brother can read them, because he's the kind of person that either reads really quickly or takes for freaking ever with my books, and he's always looking for things to read, and so far he hasn't damaged them beyond repair, so I'm letting him read my books. But he has one more shot, because 2 of my books have come back kind of dirty with loose bindings. One of them had come back years ago with a bent cover, and I let him borrow City of Bones, and I found it on the floor. It was fine, but it stayed there for weeks. And I was just like, alright, now I'm taking this back and putting it back on my bookshelf, which is right here. So, yeah, that is, yeah. So that's all I have for you. That is my book talk on the Scorpio Races. Like I said, if you've read it, let me know what you think. And I'm going to say that unless you're really into horses, or you want a refreshing romance that isn't all about soulmate feeling I will die for you, or sexual tension that kind of builds until the characters have like one final night together, this one, it's so cute though. If you also, I think one of the other things, and I'll talk about this real quick before I'm done, one of the things that I don't think I liked about it was I am not from a small town or an island. So I think there's a disconnect between me and the main characters, because I've lived in the suburbs my whole life. You know, apartment complexes, when I was really little, and then houses in the suburbs. I've never, and I would probably have a similar disconnect to contemporaries about characters that live in the city, because again, suburbs, you know, I don't really know what it's like living in the city. I have ideas because I've watched, you know, TV shows, and I've talked to people who lived in the city, and I've seen In the Heights, which probably doesn't depict it as well, but you know, so I think there was a disconnect, and maybe that's partially why I didn't like it. Just kind of a disclaimer. So if you feel like you can relate to the characters, you like horses, or you want a cute, slowly falling for each other kind of sweet relationship, then this book is what you want to read. Otherwise, I don't really recommend it because it's not very fast-paced, it's not very action-packed, and it takes forever to get to the point. So there you go. That is all I have for you today. Next week I should have more videos for you. I don't know if it will be a top 5 video or not. Hopefully I will have a book talk on what I'm currently reading, which is Truth Witch. And maybe a fun tag game. Have you guys seen a fun tag game that you want me to do? Let me know in the comments down below, or even just like a challenge. Can't be one of the group challenges that Pullin' Banana Books, Cattastic, and Jessie the Reader have done recently, all their collabs, because those are all group challenges, and it's pretty much just me. I was gonna say literally just me, but my brother could technically play with me. But I don't have any booktube, bookler friends that live nearby. So it's just me. So until I can work on a collab, it's just me. So if there are any tags or challenges that you want me to do, they're just gonna have to be solo things. But put them down below and I will take a look. Like I said, if you've read Scorpio Races, let me know what you thought down below as well. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Happy reading!